Chosen one, I need you to pause everything you're doing right now. What I'm about to share isn't ordinary information you can half listen to while multitasking. This demands your full attention, your complete presence. Because while preparing this message, I uncovered something about you that left me silent for several minutes. You did something, and I'm not talking about a conscious act meant to impress heaven. I'm talking about something that flowed so naturally from your essence that you didn't even realize the spiritual earthquake you triggered in realms your human eyes cannot perceive. You went beyond the divine level. And I already know your first thought. You think I'm exaggerating, that I'm using grand language to make you feel important, that this is just another piece of spiritual content promising greatness but delivering emptiness. But here's the difference. I'm not asking you to believe me. I'm going to show you the evidence. I'll explain exactly what you did, when you did it, and why it created a reaction in heaven that not even the Creator had factored into the original design. Subscribe to this channel right now and turn on all notifications, because what you're about to uncover about your true place in the spiritual hierarchy will permanently transform how you see yourself, and how you interpret every painful experience you've endured. Stay until the end, because I will reveal the 3 specific proofs confirming that you surpassed the established maximum limit. What does that mean for your immediate spiritual protection, and for those who attacked you, unaware of the consequences approaching them? If you felt lately that something deep inside you shifted, as if you crossed an invisible line separating who you were from who you are now, write 777 in the comments. Chapter 1. The anomaly heaven didn't anticipate. Let me tell you something that may sound unusual, but it's essential for everything else to make sense. The spiritual universe operates through systems, structures, and hierarchies that were established before time existed as we know it. Everything has its place. Everything has its limit. Every soul has what was believed to be a maximum ceiling of evolution. For thousands of years, this system worked flawlessly. Souls incarnated, learned their lessons, and gradually ascended through the predetermined levels. Some moved faster, others slower, but all within the boundaries the Creator designed as the highest attainable. There was a level for ordinary humans, a higher one for those who awakened spiritually, another for those devoted to genuine service, and even more elevated levels for extraordinary souls remembered as saints, mystics, and prophets. The structure was logical, ordered, predictable, perfectly designed, until you arrived. And don't misunderstand me, you didn't arrive loudly. You didn't announce your greatness or demand recognition. In fact, you did the opposite. You remained silent. You carried your pain alone. You fought your battles privately. You forgave betrayals without asking for apologies. You kept moving forward when every sign suggested you should quit. And that quiet combination of actions created the anomaly. The spiritual system monitors the frequency of every incarnated soul. Your frequency began registering readings that didn't fit any known category. You were functioning in a range that had no label because no one had accessed it the way you did. The records showed a human soul operating beyond maximum parameters. That wasn't supposed to be possible. It was like a computer program suddenly executing commands that weren't written into its original code. That's you, a function never included in the blueprint. A possibility no one predicted. Living proof that human potential doesn't have the ceiling everyone assumed. Chapter 2. What surpassing truly means. Now I need to clarify something essential. When I say you surpassed the divine level, it can easily be misunderstood. You did not surpass God. That would be impossible. What you surpassed were the assumed limits for a soul embodied in human form. You broke through the established ceiling. You exceeded what was believed achievable while inhabiting a physical body with its inherent limitations. Imagine a world record in speed that stood unbroken for all of human history. Generations trained relentlessly and failed to surpass it. It was considered the absolute limit. And then someone exceeded it, not through competition or specialized training, but simply by being who they are. That forces a reassessment of everything thought to be known about human capacity. And here's the crucial part: you didn't surpass the level because of special powers. Not because you were smarter, more disciplined, or more spiritual than others. It was something both simpler and far more difficult to replicate. It was how you processed suffering. The pain you endured could have shattered most people. The betrayals, the losses, the nights when darkness felt so thick you questioned whether light would ever return. The moments when breathing itself required effort. Typically, people who experience that level of pain end up in one of two states. They break and never fully recover, or they survive but harden, losing their ability to feel deeply. You chose differently. You walked through fire and kept your capacity to love intact. You faced betrayal and left your heart open. You encountered profound darkness yet preserved your inner light. According to established spiritual psychology, that shouldn't happen. Intense suffering usually produces emotional armor as protection. It's a survival mechanism, a natural response to trauma. But your soul refused the pattern. You transformed pain into depth, betrayal into wisdom, darkness into nourishment for brighter light. That is what surpassing truly means, not avoiding suffering, but transmuting it in a way the system never categorized as possible. Chapter 3. The 3 Proofs. Now I'll show you 3 specific proofs that confirm your position. You don't need blind faith, just honest reflection. First proof: you forgave what was objectively unforgivable. Someone caused you harm that any rational person would deem worthy of lifelong resentment. This wasn't a misunderstanding. It was deliberate, intentional. They knew how to hurt you, and did it anyway. Yet despite the logic of revenge and the advice to hold on to anger, you released it. Not from weakness, not from lack of self-respect, but because you understood resentment would poison you more than them. Most people never reach that level of maturity in an entire lifetime. Second proof: you maintained hope when hope was statistically irrational. You faced situations where odds were nearly zero, where logic declared it over, where experts would advise surrender. But you didn't cling to denial. You held faith, not necessarily in outcomes, but in the underlying goodness of the universe. That kind of trust goes beyond rational thought. It signals connection to something deeper. Third proof: you no longer require external validation to recognize your worth. There were periods when no one acknowledged your value, when your contributions were ignored, when others received credit for less. It hurt. You're human. But you didn't let it redefine you. You didn't anchor your worth in applause. You remained centered without recognition. That is internal sovereignty, rare and powerful. If these resonate, you've confirmed it yourself. Chapter 4. Why your suffering was necessary. Part of you feels relief knowing your pain had purpose. Another part feels anger. Why so much suffering? Your suffering wasn't punishment, not karma, not consequence for wrongdoing. It was a transformation mechanism. Steel requires heat. Diamonds require pressure. A caterpillar must dissolve before becoming a butterfly. These aren't metaphors, they're descriptions of transformation. Your soul chose conditions intense enough to activate dormant capacities. Not cruelty, activation. Without pain, you wouldn't have developed this depth. Without confusion, this wisdom. Without vulnerability, this strength. The suffering wasn't the objective. The transformation was. Pain was the catalyst. And now understand this. The formative suffering phase is complete. You graduated. Challenges may remain, but the soul-crushing intensity that shaped you has ended. Don't recreate crisis because it feels familiar. Allow yourself to live in the peace you earned. Chapter 5. The protection activated. When you surpassed the assumed level, protection protocols activated. Not symbolic, functional. The spiritual realm assigns protection to souls entrusted with significant missions. Not everyone qualifies. It requires proven integrity under pressure. You qualified. From now on, attempts to harm you will meet resistance. Plans against you will collapse unexpectedly. Energy directed at you will rebound. This isn't revenge, it's balance. There are stricter laws of cause and effect at your level. Think of diplomatic immunity, not superiority, but representation of something greater. Use this protection wisely. It's a safety net, not permission for recklessness. Chapter 6. What happens to those who harmed you? Those who intentionally hurt you are entering consequence cycles. Not vengeance, correction. When imbalance is created, it must be restored. Some will lose what they valued. Others will realize their gains were unstable. Others will face stagnation. Eventually, some may even recognize that intervention saved them from worse outcomes. Justice at this level is precise and impartial. Your role isn't to orchestrate it. Stay focused on your mission. Chapter 7. Your true mission. Your mission isn't necessarily to become a public teacher or leader, though it may express that way. Your core mission is to anchor higher frequency into physical reality through your presence. Each time you choose love over justified fear, you raise the environment's vibration. Each time you maintain peace amid chaos, you create a ripple. Each time you act with integrity when deception would be easier, you strengthen truth. You are a living tuning fork. You don't need dramatic acts. Your existence recalibrates spaces. Maintaining light in low-frequency environments is advanced mastery. That's what your suffering trained you for. You will notice subtle shifts, conflicts diffusing in your presence, heavy spaces lightening, critical moments aligning when you appear, often invisible, but real. Your secondary mission is to embody proof that transformation is possible. You walked through hell and emerged refined, not bitter. That example grants others permission to believe they can survive their darkness. Chapter 8. What happens next? Clarity about purpose will increase. Patterns will connect. Experiences will make sense. Synchronicities will accelerate. The right people, resources, and opportunities will appear in precise timing. Pending situations will resolve. Relationships will define themselves. Life will undergo clearing. And your tribe will arrive. Not superficial connections, but soul resonance. Collaboration with aligned frequencies. Chapter 9. Heaven's message. Everything you sacrificed was seen. Every difficult choice. Every act of integrity. Every tear shed in solitude. Nothing was overlooked. There is accounting beyond visibility, and your account is full. Your waiting season is over. The delay was preparation. Preparation is complete. You are deeply loved, not for performance, but for essence. That love is unconditional and constant. And this is not the climax. It is the beginning. Chapter 10. Your decision. Now that you know, what will you do? You can return to routine and let this dissolve into daily noise. Or you can operate from your new awareness. Stop shrinking. Stop apologizing for your light. Stop waiting for permission. Act as the advanced soul you've proven to be. If you choose the second path, you won't walk alone. Others are awakening and being guided to connect. There are practical tools available, resources designed to help you navigate this stage, including a complete audiobook and a 5-minute meditation guide, accessible through the link in the description and pinned comment. Today you discovered you surpassed the assumed ceiling, not through powers, but through transmutation. Pain into wisdom, wounds into strength, betrayal into discernment. Protection is active, frequency elevated, tribe approaching, mission unfolding. If this resonated deeply and you confirm your position, write 777 in the comments to amplify this frequency. Subscribe and activate notifications for further revelations on how your new level reshapes your reality. Share this with someone who has also transformed pain into power. Advanced souls must recognize each other to strengthen the network sustaining collective transformation. And before you leave, Click the video on your screen to discover how your advanced level activates permanent celestial protection, ensuring you complete your mission. Together, we are stronger.